Hello my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. And today we're going to revisit some old favourites, Tania and Syngin. And so they're currently on the new series of Happily Ever After. And I really wasn't going to bother covering this show, but when Tania popped up, the Ebird was powerless to resist. So this is Season 5, Episode 2, What Goes Around Comes Around. Before we begin, yes, it's that time again. Please don't forget to press that red subscribe button if you've yet to subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to smash the like button if you're happy to hear more of these updates about our old favourites. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Ebird99. So we first meet up with Tania and Syngin and they're ice skating. And Syngin looks extremely excited to be out on the ice. And watching Syngin on the ice seems to be a metaphor for their relationship. He's always skating on thin ice. And Syngin as usual seems unstable and unsure of himself. But wait, what's this? It would seem that Tania has a broken foot. It's probably a stress fracture from kicking Syngin in the bollocks so regularly and with such force. But it turns out it isn't. Tania claims that somebody bumped into her in the car, causing her to have a crash, but the Ebird believes that she was screaming at Syngin, she took her eyes off the road and her hands off the wheel. And I'm sure you guys all remember Tania and Syngin's car rides of old. She wasn't exactly concentrating, was she? But the good news for Syngin is he couldn't be any more of a servant than he already is, so there'll be no change in the dynamic of their relationship. So as is usual for Tania, she decides to be completely ridiculous. So she actually has a wheelchair, and Syngin, who's very unstable on the ice anyway, has to wheel her round in the wheelchair on the ice. What is the point? And I do find myself all the time screaming, Tania, what is the point? Not just what is the point of view, which I actually do think, but why are you even doing this? Why do you do the things you do? And guys, the Ebird's just realising, I'm only 3 minutes into watching this pair and Tania is already triggering me. She's honestly one of the most ridiculous people I think I've ever come across. And then, as TLC so often do, we were treated to a trip down memory lane. And we see these lovebirds meeting at the airport, we saw their trip to New York, we even saw the shed they used to live in. But strangely, there's no memories of the rasta on the beach. TLC must have lost the footage. Luckily for you guys, the Ebird hasn't. But we did however revisit the soulmate slapdown when Tania said that her ex was her one and only soulmate. And we next catch up with these guys and they're driving in a van with Tania's mum. And Tania explains that they're moving out of the shed. And I was somewhat surprised to see the mum driving them. I thought she would have disowned them by now. I guess it's just a matter of time. And Syngin tells us he wanted to move somewhere hot and sunny. Perhaps South Africa, or maybe Costa Rica, or maybe the pit of Tania's soul. But unfortunately for these newlyweds, they can't move out of Connecticut because Tania has health insurance only in that state. And so they're moving into a 1-bedroom apartment. And guys, I think they saw my earlier video where I showed them that you could get a 1-bedroom apartment for $600 a month in some areas of Connecticut. And the couple have yet more good news. Syngin tells us he finally has a work permit. But the bad news is neither one of them have a job. And Tania tells us it's put an awful lot of pressure on their relationship. And Tania says she was working behind a bar, but as soon as she broke her foot she wasn't able to continue working. But the Ebird's just wondering, why aren't you mixing lotions and potions and curing the world of all its ills? I'm surprised she hasn't been on the phone to Miss Rona. Surely you've got some nettles which can kill this virus off Tania. And I do wonder, what was the point of doing that business if you're going to still work behind a bar? Surely she should now be building up this business and working towards making it pay off. And I knew it when she was doing the calls, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. It's just a typical Tania whim. She likes the idea of it, so she just figures, I'll go and do it. And it's just another skill I have behind me. There's no point having skills behind you unless you plan to use them. And so the next time we see this couple, they're going to visit her sister, Tania. And Tania tells us, you know, we're sisters, sometimes we get along, sometimes we don't. Last time you saw us, we were at loggerheads, but now we've sorted it all out. And she says we've finally made up after the funky little spot we were in before. And Tania wonders how long it can last. Wonder no more, Tania, until you open your mouth. It will all be downhill as soon as you speak. And guys, it was so funny. One look at Tania tells me they haven't squashed their beef at all. Tania says, I'm really glad that they finally decided to get married. Oh Tania, please try and show it then. You sound decidedly peed off about it. And just to rub things in, Tania asks Tania about work. And Tania says, we'll be fine, we're going to live on our savings for a while. What? Oh God, Tania really is just ridiculous. She's going to live off savings. Who does that? Savings are for emergencies. Yeah, it's always a great idea to just live off all your savings. But Syngin got a little bit of good news. He's going to interview for a bar job. But as per usual, where Syngin sees a glimmer of hope, a ray of light far away, Tania stands in front of it and blocks it all out. And so Tania tells her sister that she's very worried about Syngin and she thinks he'll drink too much on the job. And if I were Syngin, I'd be drinking as well. The best way to stop drinking, Syngin, is to get a divorce from Tania. And Tania tells us apparently Syngin broke chairs on the job previously, he lost his mobile phone, he lost his motorbike, he had fights in the bar, and he was generally a wild child. And so the way that Tania's telling it, it's almost like Syngin's some sort of an alcoholic. I do remember quite a while ago Tania's mum moaning on and saying, "You've drank half a bottle of Jack Daniels." Maybe there's something in it. And Tania said, "Well, did you break the chairs in the bar by accident?" And Syngin said, "No, not really. I was just pissed off with people in the bar." Oh dear, Syngin. Oh dear, oh dear. I've got a feeling Tania might be right. But Tania will not stop going on and on about all the things that Syngin did before. So last season we were listening to her say, "I just want you to get a job, any job." Now he's actually applying for jobs and going for jobs and is able to. She's now saying, "I don't want you to have this job." Tania, just give him a go and see how he gets on. And Tania tells Tania that Syngin's drinking raises red flags for her. Red flags, Tania? Now wait one nettle-picking moment. If he was doing this when he was in South Africa, you haven't just heard about it, you knew about it all along. So these red flags should have been raised and thought about and considered and acted upon if need be before you got married. What's the point of raising red flags now you're married and he has his work permit? And honestly guys, I just really can't with Tania. I just really can't. She's always out of kilter. Tania doesn't seem to ever want to limit her ideas with logic. Why base things on reality when we can live so frivolously in La La Land? Tania, you don't run things, things run you. And finally Tania tells us that she wants action. Syngin says it gets on his nerves when his own wife doesn't trust him. If only Syngin was Tania's soulmate, it might all be so much easier. And so what do I make from all of this? I think, as per usual, Tania has all of her priorities wrong. You're married to Syngin now, so you may as well back him up and boost him instead of slating him to your sister. Syngin's quite a young guy, and obviously he was even younger when he was in South Africa. So what's the big deal? You're moaning that a young guy at a bar was wild. Hold the front page, of course he was. It's very unsurprising, but now he's going to have rent and responsibilities and a wife. I think you'll find he'll probably calm down. I think Tania just likes to moan for moaning's sake. She moaned that he wasn't being proactive and trying to get a job, and now he is. She's moaning about the type of job he's going to get. She knows good and well he doesn't have many skills. He's only either worked down the mines or worked behind a bar. So what did you think he was going to come and do when he moved to the States? Maybe she thought he was going to be an opera singer. Who knows? But Syngin, I think you need to get used to how Tania is, because I don't think she's going to change anytime soon. And even her sister Tania says, "It doesn't surprise me. I knew it wouldn't be long before Tania turns on the thumb screws." Syngin, don't expect 100% when Tania's only got 50 to give, and that's in total, so you can't even have all of that. Honestly, I think you're on hiding to nothing, and I just don't see this relationship working out. They're still bickering as much as they were before they got married. Tania still doesn't have a linear way of thinking. So she ran off to do this course. Then she came back, and instead of utilising what she'd done in the course, she decided to go and get a job behind a bar. She saved a bit of money, and notwithstanding the fact that she's broken her foot and her husband isn't working, she still decides this is the time to move out. And then finally, when Syngin needs boosting up and perhaps a few tips on how to interview in America and what he should expect, oh no, not from Tania. She decides to eviscerate any last remaining shreds of dignity that you have by telling everyone you're a raving, violent alcoholic. I literally couldn't make it up. These guys have only been married 6 months. So please let me know what you think. Do you think they're going to make it? And do you think there's a possibility that Syngin might calm down now he's a bit older and has responsibilities? Please let me know in comments down below. It's going to be quite interesting this season to catch up with Tania and Syngin again. And if you guys want, I can follow the story throughout the season and keep giving you reviews. So if you definitely want me to stick with this through the season, please don't forget to press the like button. Also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, make Ebird a happy Ebird, and I'll be back soon with more reviews. Thank you so much for letting me get it all off my chest. You've been listening to Ebird Online. Ciao for now.